All right, this is Algebra 1, test 1 through 35 review, part 2, I think. All right, so we're on question number 9 of, was it 20 questions, 20, 22, something like that? Okay, make sure we got some sound on. Okay, so this says solve. What are we solving for? I. We're solving for I. Now, this is all done in fractions. The easy first step is to do what? Add what? Add 6/15 to what? Add 6/15 to 1/15. Okay. Hopefully here in a couple minutes you'll actually be able to see. Oh, there it is. Okay. So that's going to leave me with I over 75 is equal to what? 7/15. Okay. Now what do you want to do? Multiply by 75 on both sides, okay, which would be the same thing as multiplying by 75 over 1, correct? So you're saying that it comes out as 35, but what is 7 times 75? Just so that we see what's happening here. Granted, you're probably plugging it into a calculator and doing a couple of steps all at once, but I want to show those steps. What is 7 times 75? What? 525. So we're taking 525 and dividing it by 15, correct? And that's giving me I equals, what'd you say, 35? 35. Okay? But because this is a test, and the purpose of a test is to show me what you know how to do, correct? All right? I like seeing this as a means of getting here. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay? I like seeing every step. I equals, well, let's check. Okay, you're asking what does it show here? This says 30. I'm guessing that it's just incorrect, right? That it's probably here. Let me real quickly do the math up on a calculator. All right, we are taking, what is it, 115. Okay, I get the 7/15. Okay, 7 divided by 15 times 75. And we should get 35. 35 is the correct answer. Okay? All right. Now, what I'm going to try to do, because I should be coming home Friday sometime, so I'm going to try to come back to the school, pick up all your tests, take them home over the weekend, and grade them. Right? If that doesn't happen, I'm going to be grading your stuff. Like, I'm going to try to get here early Monday and have everything graded. So I'm going to have to go through the test and definitely make sure that there's no incorrect answers given, everything is correct. Okay. All right, question number 10. Determine if the graph represents a function. How can I test? The vertical line test. Okay. What is the vertical line test, or what am I looking for if I use vertical lines? How do I know if it passes? If it touches only once? Oh, if it touches more than once, it passes? It doesn't pass. And that's really good because what I've seen on, I don't know if I still have it here, because I've seen in some of your other tests where everybody's getting this wrong. I don't know if I can find test review, not that one. No, not that one. I want to see if I can pull up one of your old tests because consistently folks are getting this wrong and I want to go over it. Let's see. It would have probably been on your last test. Did you guys remember seeing, and I might be thinking of another class too. On another test, let me see if I can just draw it and give you some examples of what I've seen in other stuff. You going home? No? Okay. All right. Let me pull up this and show you some of the things that I've seen, right? I don't know if it was this class or maybe another test, okay, where we've seen multiple different graphs. One that looked like this. Let's see. Probably one that looked like this. Okay, this was this class. Okay, one that looked like this and was like what? Oh, was like this, something like that. Okay, and I'm really surprised at how many of us chose, say, this one. A lot of people chose that graph. Is that a function? No, right? Because, right, it crosses here and here, right? Now, I can probably find a place on that graph where it only touches once, but if I can find any place on the graph where it touches more than once, it's not a function, okay? This is very much not a function. It crosses it, 1, 2, 3, 4 times in places, right? Over here, right? I got places there and there where it crosses, okay? So I'm not taking for granted that you guys understand how the vertical line test works, because I've seen on tests where we don't understand how the vertical line test works, right? Okay, so, that's not my way of trying to slam you, because what I want more than anything is for you guys to do really, really well on this test. And in order for you to do really, really well on this test, you have to understand a lot of different things, okay? Do we understand this? Okay? How am I going to show work on this, though? Am I just going to pick this relation as a function? You're going to put the graph and you're going to do what? You're going to show me a vertical line passing it. You might even say in there, passes the vertical line test, right? Vertical line only crosses the graph once, therefore it is a function. Anything like that, anything that's going to bolster your answer is good, okay? Shows understanding, and that's really what I want on a test, is for you to show me that you know what is going on and that you're not flipping a coin and just happen to get a right answer, right? Okay. Norma earns 1.5 times her normal hourly pay for each hour that she works over 40 hours in a week. Her normal pay is $7.70 per hour. Last week, Norma earned $435.05. How many hours did she work last week? We've worked out this problem before, right? This was in our last review, I think. Okay? So this has a lot of different steps. I think this might be the most difficult question in the review. Okay? I don't know. Maybe a bunch of you got it right. Does anybody know what the first step is? What's the first step, Camden? Oh, okay, 7.7. Okay, multiply it by 40. And what's that going to tell you? No, we already know. If you use it, what does 40 represent? 40 represents 40 hours. So that's not going to tell me how many hours she worked. What's it going to tell me, Eston? Right, in the normal pay, right? It's going to tell me how much money she earned, normal hours, normal pay, right? So 7.7 times 40 is how much? $308 even? Okay. What do I do with that 308? Subtract it from what? So we're going to take 435.05 and we're going to subtract 308. What's that going to tell me? No, it's not going to tell me anything about hours. What's it going to tell me? How much money she made overtime, right? Overtime, okay? Or over the 40 hours, okay? What is that? We know that's 05, right? 435 minus 308. 05. $127.05, okay? So she made $127.05 over what she normally makes, right, or would make. What do I do now? All right, so multiply 7.7 times 1.5. What's that going to tell me? How much money she makes when she works overtime, right? Okay, what is 7.7 times 1.5? $11.55. I love everybody's involvement here. Okay, so when she works overtime, she makes $11.55 an hour, right? Okay, what's my final step? Okay, I hear divide. What am I dividing? 127.05. I'm dividing that by what? 11.55. And what's that going to tell me? how many hours that she worked overtime, right? She worked 51 hours of overtime. She worked 11 hours of overtime. Okay, 11 hours overtime. Okay, and because we're looking for a total number of hours, we have to add 11 back to what? The original 40 hours. So 40 plus 11 is 51 hours. Sounds like you guys got it, right? And we understood the individual parts. Good. That's really great to see. Impressed. We good here? Okay. Awesome. All right. Number 12. Solve for x. First step is what? Babbitt. Distributive property. What am I distributing? What am I distributing? Negative 3 to? X. Oh, in the 3. Okay. So negative 3 times x is? Negative 3x. And negative 3 times 3 is? Negative 9. Okay, so we'll bring everything else over. We're trying to solve for x. Antonisha, what would you do next? Okay, we're right here. We're on number 12, and we're trying to solve for x. Got any guesses? Okay, so somebody in the military told me this, okay, and this is good advice. They said whenever there's a firefight, like a lot of times soldiers will freeze up. They say whenever you're in a stressful situation, the worst thing that you can do is nothing, right? Nothing will get you killed. They said do something even if it's the wrong thing. I think that that's true in these situations. So if you get called on and you don't know what to do something even if it's the wrong thing. Okay? The worst thing that you can do is nothing. And that happens to us on tests, right? Tests are stressful. The worst thing that we can do is nothing, right? Sit there and just look at things because then all our time is gone and we keep getting more and more stressed out. We're better to do something in the hopes that we're doing the right thing, even if it turns out to be the right, or even if it turns out to be wrong. So try something. Okay, negative 9. What's that? And negative 9 and 7. Okay, we can do something with negative 9 and 7. All right, what do you want to do with them? Negative 9 minus 7. Okay, so you're right, kind of, but we need some more words to it. Can anybody help her out? What do we need to do in order to do negative 9 minus 7? No. Do what she said, but give her more words to work with. She's taking negative 9 minus 7. Can we do that? All right, by doing what? Combining like terms, yes, but how am I doing that? No. We are subtracting 7 from more. Okay, I can't just do this. I have to also subtract it from both sides. I have to subtract 7 from both sides, right? We need the subtraction property of equality, because if I only subtract 7 from negative 9 and I don't subtract 7 from 7, I still have a 7 over here, right? And I haven't actually reduced anything, right? Yes? Okay, so you're right, but I want to make sure that we understand everything that goes with it, okay? All right. So we tried something. It turns out it was a good thing. All right. Can you help me simplify this? Okay, go ahead. Okay. Slow down. We're okay. Which is? No. Negative 9 minus 7. Negative 16. So let's bring down our negative 3x. We know that this is negative 16 equals, what do I have on the right-hand side? X. Because what happened with those? Sevens. They canceled out, right? Negative 7 plus 7 is 0. Okay. Let's see. Mr. Babbitt, what would you, or not Babbitt, Baker, what would you do next? Add 3x to both sides. Thank you. Add 3x to both sides. Okay? So what does that leave me with on the left-hand side? Negative 16 equals what? No? Look, you have 1x and you added 3x to it. How many x's do you have? 4x. Say that again. You have a negative 3x. No, I'm adding 3x, not negative 3x, because if I added negative 3x, I would wind up with negative 6x on the left-hand side. I wouldn't have actually gotten rid of it, right? We add the opposite. We do the inverse operation. We are subtracting 3x here. Does that make sense? So we're adding 3x to cancel it out on the left. I'm adding 3x to 1x over here, which is giving me 4x. Right? Do we agree? Okay. I didn't know if we were saying two different things or not. Okay. Final step. Wiseman.
You would divide negative 16 by 4x.
Divide negative 16 by 4x. No, not quite. No? No, don't divide by 16. Garcia? Divide by 4 on both sides, not 4x, because we want to solve for x. So I don't want to move x over, right? We're trying to isolate x. Okay? What's negative 16 divided by 4? No, not 4. Negative 4 equals x, or x equals negative 4. Okay? Using the symmetric property of congruence. All right, so we got x equals negative 4. Do we understand our steps? Okay? We've learned a valuable lesson. Try something even if it's the wrong thing, but try something. Okay? I guarantee you that if I ask you a question, right, you will not die. I will not kill you, right? I've had students ask me, well, what if I retake a test and I do worse on the second test? What's going to happen? I tell them politely, Mr. Hostetter and Mr. Clark will take you out and execute you. Isn't that the worst thing that could happen? Right? And I promise you that's not going to happen. Okay? Will you survive? Will you survive the day? Right? In school here, probably, the worst thing that's going to happen in the classroom is that you don't get a good score. Okay? And I want you to have a good score, but listen, we need to feel comfortable enough to try things. Okay? All right. 13. Solve W equals Vm for V. So what should I be solving for? V, which means I need to do what with V? Isolate it. Move everything else away from it. Okay? Get it alone. All right. So what needs to move? M. M needs to move. What is M doing with V right now? Multiplying. So what do I need to do with M to get it to move? Divide by M. Divide by M. Divide by the thing I need to move. Okay, so what does V equal? W divided by M. Okay? Now, whenever it comes to, and this is a really terrible illustration possibly, okay? But when it comes to trying to solve for a variable, okay, treat it like, this is a really goofy illustration, but treat the thing that you want to solve for like a person you like, right? Maybe you don't have a boyfriend or girlfriend, but you like somebody, right? But here's the problem with getting to know somebody that you like, and you're like, you want to ask her out type of thing. She's always surrounded with friends, right? Okay? If you want to ask her out, what do you need to do? You need to get her by herself, right? You need to isolate, right? You need to get everybody else over to the other side so that you can talk to her, right? That's how it works. It's relationship advice using math, okay? Right? So you want to get V alone, you need to get rid of her friend M, okay? You need to divide her out of the situation. All right. Sorry. Cereal is on sale. Is it better to buy, is it a better buy to get a 10-ounce box for $2.06 or the 14-ounce box for $3.06? Okay, how can we determine this? Do you ever go to the grocery store? No, you guys never go to the grocery store. Okay, whenever I go to the grocery store, they have like the price of the thing, right? But if you look really closely, a lot of times, like if you're at Walmart, you'll see it kind of in an orange tag next to the thing in yellow, and it'll say dollars per ounce, right? Or dollars per package, or something like if it's a box of multiple things, right? Like you go to get Gushers, right? And it's like $5, but it'll say, okay, there's 20 little packs in there, so it actually comes out to like, 33 cents per pack, right? Something like that. Does that make sense? All right, so what we want to find out is what is the dollars per ounce? So 2.06 over 14. We want to reduce that. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on, that's 10, right? Divided by 10 ounces. Okay, dollars per ounce versus $3.06 per 14 ounces. Okay, we want to reduce that. What is 2.06 divided by 10? It's probably like 20 cents per ounce, 20.6 cents per ounce, something like that. What's 2.06 divided by 10? 0.206 per 1 ounce. Okay, 0.206. That means for every ounce, of cereal, it's costing me 20 cents. Okay, or maybe closer to 21 cents. Now let's do the same thing with $3.06 by 14. What is that? 0.2185, okay, for that same ounce. Okay, which one is a better price? The 10-ounce box or the 14-ounce box? Which one is, you want a cheaper one, right? You want the one that has the smaller number? Which one is that? 10 ounces. Does that make sense? Do we understand that? You're very confused? Probably a lot of people would pick the 14-ounce box without thinking about it. But here's, I don't know, I could get off on like a whole different like philosophy of life type thing, okay? But that's the reason why a lot of people don't have any money, because they don't think about that, right? They just buy the bigger box, and they don't consider that the company that's selling cereal has just ripped you off, right? Okay? People that typically have quite a bit of money are people who are wise with it, right? So I don't know if you want to have a lot of money in life, but you need to be wise with the money that you have. All right, 15. In the figure, triangle ABC is similar to triangle PQR. What do we know about similar figures? They are proportional, okay? Corresponding side lengths are proportional to corresponding side lengths, okay? We want to find the length of BC. There's several different proportions that we can set up. Okay? What is a proportion that we could set up? 4/7. Okay? Because AB corresponds to PQ, I can put 4/7. But if I'm going to put 4/7, then what do I have to put on the right-hand side? 5 on top? 5 on the bottom. Good. Because if I'm going to go little triangle over big triangle, then I have to go little triangle over big triangle. So big triangle needs to be on the bottom. All right, so what am I going to put on top there? X. And what does X represent? Segment BC. Okay, segment BC. All right, now what do we do? Multiply 5 times 4. Okay, so 5 times 4 equals 20. Okay. So we got 20 equals what? 7x. Now what? Good. Divide by 7 on both sides. That's probably going to be what, 2 point something? 2.857. Let's see what the answer comes out to here. It looks like 2 6/7, 20 divided by 7, 2 6/7 inches, right? 2.87 or 2.875 inches, right? You see all the different possibilities there. Do we need to have a label on this? Yes, because we have a label in the question. So there's a lot of different possibilities there. Okay, make sure that it has inches. What's going to happen if you don't put inches? You're going to get it wrong. Okay, no mercy. Are we here? We hear. You can hear this in the audio. No mercy if you don't have labels. I need to see IN period, INCHES. I don't care if it's capitalized or lowercase, right? But we gotta have inches. It's gonna be really loud when you listen to this in the recording. What? Okay. All right, let's keep moving here. Simplify completely. All right, there's a couple different strategies here. What types of things did you guys try on this question? Move, okay, Babbitt, I think you and I talked about this question. What did I recommend you do? Move, okay, so certain things can go up, certain things can go down. How do I, I want to say that there's the easiest way of doing this. The easiest way of doing this is to move absolutely everything up. And then once we've combined my like terms, all right, I've dealt with my exponents, then I can move my negative exponent variables down, right? Okay, so how do I rewrite this moving everything up? A to the fourth, A to the what? Negative seventh, B to the negative eighth, B to the negative sixth, C to the seventh. Okay, what do I do with the exponents of the common variables? Garcia. What? What do you say? What do you do with the exponents of the like variables? Okay, but add, right? I'm adding the negatives. Yes, you will subtract, but our rule is that we add, right? When we're multiplying terms, right? Okay, so it's 4 plus negative 7, right? Okay, A is negative 3, B is what? 14? Negative 14, and C is 7. Now, okay, that was step 1 is move everything up. Step 2 is combine, right, by adding exponents. What's step 3? Moving them. Okay, what moves? All right, so anything that is negative goes where? Down below the division bar. Okay, so I'm going to make a division bar. Where does A go? A goes on the bottom. Okay, so its exponent becomes positive. Where does B go? Does it stay? Goes down to the bottom, and what happens? 14. Okay, C stays at the top. All right. Now, hopefully, and I don't know if you've caught on to this, right? You see the work that I'm doing, right? I expect that same work to be done on your test, okay? So if you saw that exact same question, I don't want to see C the 7th over A cubed B to the 14th, right? No, look, have I shown work, all right? I'm very much, as a teacher, I'm a monkey see, monkey do person, okay? Meaning I'm going to show you, and that's what I expect, okay? There are other teachers, they do a much better job of getting everybody up and having everybody write on the board or doing things like that. I want to show you how to do it, right, which is maybe not the best way, okay, and I want you to like respond back, which is kind of how we do things here, okay, but what I am failing to see on test is where you guys do the work that you should show. Does that make sense? All right, so I am expecting work, not answers, okay, I want answers, but not without work. Okay, some of you get, whenever it shows up on the test, you're like, oh man, they got, 18 out of 22. That's great. That's fantastic. But by the time I'm done grading it, you're lucky if you've got 10 out of 22, right? Because what do I end up doing? DSA, 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 because there's no work, right? Make sure that you're showing your work. And if you're not sure about what work to show, go back and watch the videos because I'm showing you the work that you need to have. Okay, sorry, I don't mean to chew up all your time chewing you out. Okay. A bag contains hair ribbons for a spirit rally. The bag contains 12 blue, 3 green. Malika selects a ribbon at random. Then Jessica selects a ribbon at random from the remaining ribbons. What is the probability that Malika selects a blue ribbon and Jessica selects a green ribbon? Enter your answer as a fraction in simplest form. Notice probably the most important word here is probability. What is probability? Number what? Desired over number total. Okay. All right, so let's deal with our first person first. Okay? What is the total number of ribbons? Okay, so we've got 12 and 3 is 15. Okay, we're going to talk about our first person, which is Malika, then Jessica, right? All right, what is the probability that Malika selects a blue ribbon? Well, how many? 12, so 12 15ths. And then we're going to multiply Jessica's, right? How many total ribbons are there now? Are there still 15? What happened? Malika took one, right? Now Jessica only has how many? She only has 14 to pick from, right? All right, or sorry, Jessica, what's the probability that Malika selects a blue ribbon and Jessica selects a green ribbon? Well, how many green ribbons are there? There's still 3, right? So we need 12 times 3, which is 36, and 15 15 times 14, 210, and we need to see if that fraction will reduce. I'm betting that both those numbers are divisible by 3 at least. What is that? That's what, 12 over 70? 12 over 70? I bet that'll reduce again. 9 over 5? Shouldn't be 9 over 5. 9 over 5? How could it be a big number over a small number if 12 is smaller than 70? All right, 12 divided by 2 is 6. 70 divided by 2 is 35. 6/35? Is that as far as it'll reduce? It'll reduce further? 4 over 25? They're not both divisible by 2. They're not both divisible by 3. That's as far as it should go. 6/35. Let's check the answer, key answer. 6/35. Okay, 6/35. Can you guys do that? All right, you do need to remember, right? Look at what we did here. Okay, we take the first person, we find the probability of the first thing. Now, because the first gal isn't putting the ribbon back, that's why our total dropped by 1, right? No, because probability, you don't have to have anything other than that fraction. Okay? Do we understand the work that's here? Okay? Now, I would do the same thing if I was taking the test that I've done here. I would write up the definition of probability for myself, right, as I'm taking the test. Okay? Probability is number desired over number total. Okay? Does anybody know what would happen if Malika had put her ribbon back after selecting it? It would have been 12/15 times 3/15. All right, so you got to be careful with that. If she keeps it, the total changes. All right, 18. What time are we out of here? 38? Okay. All right, the bumper car ride at the state fair has 2 red cars, 3 green cars, 2 blue cars. Bill is first in for the ride, is assigned a car at random. Joe is next in line and randomly assigned a car. What is the probability that both Bill and Joe will drive a red bumper car? Okay, you already know what probability is, right? Right, that's the word that's in here, right? Okay, here's a big part. Percent, which means after we get the fraction, we can convert that to a decimal, which we need to convert to a percent, correct? All right, so if you do not have it, notice something else, to the nearest tenth, right? So I'm going to be just a jerk on this because it's in the instructions, okay? I'm not going to take just the correct answer, all right? You have to have the correct answer in the correct form. Does everybody hear me? Okay? So pay attention, okay? You have to be able to round correctly. You have to be able to estimate correctly. You need to have it in the right form. Okay. First person. Let's see. Bill is first in line. Okay. How many total cars are there? 7 total cars. Okay, Bill's up first. What's the probability? How many red cars are there? 2. So he has a 2 in 7 chance of getting a red car, correct? Okay. Joe, he also wants a red car, correct? How many cars are there? 6. How many red cars are there? 1. So we have 2/7 times 1/6, which is 2 what? What's 7 times 6? 42. Okay, which would be 1 out of what? Okay, that's not our final answer. I need to, in my calculator, do 1 divided by 21. What is that? What's 1 divided by 21 as a decimal? 0.0476. Now, I want that as a percent to the nearest tenth. What is that? What is it? 4 point to the nearest tenth, 4.8%, not 4.76%. That will be wrong. I will have no mercy. Okay? Because I told you and we did this. 4.8%. Are we clear here? 4.8%. There are no other options. And do we have to have a percent symbol? Yes, because that is the label 4%. Do not write in there 4.8. Okay, you better have a percent symbol in there, or at least the word percent. Are we clear? All right. Mr. Wilcox is a jerk. That's right. He is. All right, determine if the sequence appears to be an arithmetic sequence. If so, determine the common difference and the next 3 terms in the sequence. All right? Is it an arithmetic sequence? Yes. All right, because the difference here is 2 and 2 and 2, right? Has a common difference. So what's the common difference? 2. Okay? What are the next 3 terms? 17, 19, 21. All right, 17, 19, 21. There you go. Perfect. Awesome. Congratulations. I mean, if you wrote it's not an arithmetic sequence, then there's nothing else to do. Okay, because you can't find the next 3 terms because there's no common difference, there's no pattern. Okay? Yes, you do need to do that, right? That is part of it. Okay? You need to have, yes, it's an arithmetic sequence. The common difference is 2. The next 3 terms are 17, 19, 21. So in this, there are 3 boxes to check. If you do not check all 3 boxes, my guess is you're not going to get any points. Okay? It's all or nothing. There might, I don't know how this one is scored. It might be worth 3 points. If it's worth 3 points, you'd get 2 out of 3, something like that. But it might just be worth 1 point. Okay? And the reason why it might be just that strict is because the EOC is a jerk, right? You might have 5 things that you have to select, and you got to get all of those 5 and nothing extra and nothing less to be able to get 1 point. Okay? So in order to prepare you for a jerk of a test, we're going to have jerk of tests. Okay, all right, 20, last question. We got the time? Okay, choose the x and y intercepts. Make sure you specify which intercept is which. Use intercepts to graph on graph paper. Pick up from back there, right? I'll have it for you. Some of you are still doing a really terrible job at graphing, right? I had somebody take a retake test the other day and hand it to me. Cannot graph. All right, let's be clear here. Y equals mx plus b. All right, what does the term y-intercept mean to you? Okay, it is on the y-axis, correct? So if I have something like y equals 3x minus 2, which you've had on a test, what's the first thing I do? Negative 2 on the what? Y-axis. Okay, so this is not this question, but okay, just because it ticks me off that we don't know how to graph. Does anybody want to come up here and show me where negative 2 goes on here? Markina, come on up. Okay, I have seen some of the most random, unbelievable stuff show up on your guys' graphs. Perfect. All right, let me fill it. There you go. Fill it in a little bit. All right. What's the next thing I do after I have plotted negative 2 on the y-axis? Go over 1 up 3. That is absolutely 100% wrong. I do not go over 1 up 3 because slope is not run over rise. It is what? Rise over run. So I need to go up and down before I go over, right? I need to go up or down before I go over. What is the slope of 3x? Up 3 over 1. Okay, it is a fraction of up 3 over 1. So I need to go 1, 2, 3 over 1. 1, 2, 3 over 1. Does that make sense? Okay. We cannot do that. It doesn't matter what I do down here because one of the things I'm going to have to do is graph it. Okay? Did we learn something here? Hopefully. Okay, I don't say any of that to embarrass anybody. I'm not giving any names. Okay, but it is frustrating. Okay, x and y intercepts. We talked about this in the last video. Okay? An x-intercept is what? Where it crosses the x-axis. Okay, the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. If I make a table of values, right? Here's x, here's y. The x-intercept has what zero? Okay, the x-intercept has a 0 y. The y-intercept has a 0 x. Okay, so come down here. If I want the x-intercept, I do what? Substitute 0 for, oh, y. All right, what is negative 2 times 0? So I can cancel it out. Okay, so what I need is I have 2x equals negative 6. I'm solving for the x coordinate. Okay, what do I do here? So x equals negative 3. So up here I write negative 3. The x-intercept is negative 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can anybody come up here and plot for me the x-intercept? Somebody besides these two. Well, Garcia, I'll let you come up. Okay, plot the x-intercept. Very good. Okay, negative 3 on the x-axis is right here. Okay, good. All right, now what do I need to do? Solve for the y-intercept. What do I do to solve for the y-intercept? Zach? Look up here. Okay, remember, look at our table. We're solving for the y-intercept, right? Okay, go ahead. 2y minus negative 6? No. How did we solve for the x-intercept? So Lee, how did we solve for the x-intercept? What did you do first? Substituted 0 in for what? For y, which is why I had you look at the table. So what are we going to do to solve for the y-intercept? Substitute the x with what? So 2 times 0 minus 2y equals negative 6. Okay, go ahead.
2 times 0 is 0.
Okay, so that cancels. Negative 2y equals negative 6. Okay, now what? Divide by just 2.
On both sides.
Okay, so if I do that, okay, I'm going to get negative y equals negative 3. What should I have divided by? Anybody? Negative 2. Okay, and got y equals 3. Okay, so up here 3. Okay, so my y-intercept is here. Okay, and I can draw a line coming through here like this, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that is my graph. Okay, that's at least part 3. This is parts 1 and 2. Does that make sense? Okay, we covered the entire review. Test tomorrow. Good luck. Be good. Okay, be good for the sub. Do what you're supposed to do.